Hello, and welcome to the Dr. Toomer Talk Show. I'm Dr. Catherine Toomer, family medicine and community health physician and founder of Total Weight Care Institute. If what you hear tonight is something you find interesting and helpful, please share, please like, please follow me, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're here listening, please tell me where you're listening from. Give me your name, where you're listening from, and if you watch later, put in hashtag replay. At the end of this, I will have a Q&A on anything health, wellness, and weight loss related, and about the topic today, which is, why are you so tired? Because I hear this a lot. People are just like, I'm tired all the time. And part of the reason why we're tired, there's lots of different reasons, and I'll go through the different ones and also some of the things that you can do about them. And so, first of all, anytime you have anything that happens on any level, the first thing you think, or I think, especially when evaluating my patients, is biopsychosocial. What are the reasons that this can happen? What are the biological reasons? What are the psychological reasons? What are the social reasons? And so one of the things that I'll just start off with the biological reasons why we're tired often. And one of those, which is very obvious, which we all know, is sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, you're going to be tired. Now, there are many things that can disrupt your sleep, including, sleep apnea, your moods, how you're feeling, how close to sleep you've eaten, how much electronics you have around your sleep. So sleep hygiene is important. And I'll do another video specifically just talking about sleep, because that's a big topic in and of itself. But there's lots of reasons why we disrupt our sleep. Our sleep gets disrupted. And so that is number one. Always try to figure out why you're not getting enough sleep and then fixing that. But the number one reason I see that people are tired is dehydration. You just simply are dehydrated. And the way you know that you're dehydrated is all you have to do is look at your urine. If you're not on a diuretic, which is basically a water pill, then your urine is going to reflect how much fluid your kidneys are pulling off of your system. When you're dehydrated, your kidneys pull off very little. And when you're well hydrated, it pulls off a lot. So when it pulls off a lot, your urine is very clear, light yellow to clear. If you are dehydrated, your urine is yellow to dark yellow. If it starts getting to the orange, brown, and rust color, then you're having kidney damage, and then you need to see your doctor right away. The other reason, biological reason, that we are tired are hormones. Very commonly, our thyroid hormone, which gives us energy, which kind of controls our metabolism, is when it's low, hypothyroidism will make us very, very tired. There are other signs of that, like hair loss, dry skin, very depressed mood, and uncontrollable weight gain that you just can't seem to stop. And those are all things that are related to hypothyroidism. Another biological reason for being very, very tired is anemia. If you have anemia, which basically means your red blood cells are low. Your red blood cells being low, the reason why it makes you tired is because our red blood cells that carry oxygen to every part of our body, including our brain. So when it's low, our body just simply does not get enough oxygen to all the areas of our body that need to function, including our muscles, including our brain. And so everything gets affected, and then you're tired. And the reason we're anemic, there's a couple of reasons, but the most common reason is nutrition. If you're not getting enough iron or B12, then your body, or if you're losing blood in some way, either from very, very heavy periods, if you're a woman, or from some type of GI bleed in men. And if you're older than a certain age and you're a man, or even if you're not, and you start having anemia, we always want to get a colonoscopy to make sure there's not something going on there. So blood loss, slow blood loss is another reason. Now, post-surgical is kind of fast blood loss, hopefully from accidents and all of that stuff. You kind of know why. But if you have anemia and you just haven't kind of investigated why you have anemia, that would be the time to do it. So fatigue and anemia go hand in hand. Another hormone that causes fatigue, or the drop in hormone that causes fatigue, is estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone our menopause hormones. So going through menopause will make us tired. Now, it will make us tired not only because of the hormone drop, but it'll also make us tired because often progesterone, when it drops, disrupts our sleep. And we have insomnia. And then when our estrogen and progesterone drops, like I always talk about, our cortisol gets unopposed. And so it wakes us up in the middle of the night. When you have high stress and cortisol, which I'll talk about again, then you will wake up in the middle of the night and it will disrupt your sleep. The other biological thing that can happen is your medications. If you're taking medications that can make you sleepy, that will make you tired. Beta blockers are notorious for this. Or just sleep medication that disrupt your sleep, like, stimulants of any kind. And so all of these reasons, so when you're tired, first thing you want to do is start drinking lots of water, making sure you're getting good sleep. And if those two things have been corrected and you're still tired, please talk to your doctor and find out if there's some other reason. Now, psychological reasons that you can be tired is depression, our moods. When we're sad, we're tired. And there are many things that can make us sad. Grieving, death is definitely something that can make us sad. Or being in situations that we feel we just don't have very much control over, can make us sad or make us depressed. Just having chronic depression, I mean, it's just a diagnosis and it's nothing wrong with having that diagnosis, but in and of itself can make you tired. Sometimes the medications for it can make you tired. And so that is another psychological reason for fatigue. High stress. When your body's under chronic stress and your cortisol levels are very, very high, the other thing that it does, and this kind of feeds back actually into the biology, is your blood sugars start going up. And high blood sugars will make you tired, particularly after you eat. So having high blood sugar will also make you very, very tired. The other thing, and I'm just going to jump back just one point that I forgot to make. If you undereat, if you don't eat enough to maintain your biological functions, your muscle functions, and all the rest, then yes, you will also be tired. And I'll repeat that again when we get to the social. So the psychological, again, moods can definitely make you tired. Stress can make you tired. Grief will make you tired. And sometimes the medications to treat those things can also make you tired. And so if you find that, again, you are noticing that your moods are changing, you're becoming more irritable, or you're starting to have difficulty getting along with people, you're starting to have problems at work, problems within your family, maybe it's time to talk to your physician about maybe getting tested and seeing if there's something underlying and that you can help. Often therapy can help with some of that. And then sometimes it requires medication, and there's nothing wrong with taking medication if you need it. And the third, I know I'm going through these rather quickly and we can talk about them a little more, is bio, psycho, and then social. The social part. Now, people can make you tired. Now, that is true. If you're someone who is an introvert and you're around people a lot, it will make you tired. Your battery will get drained. And so that's part of it. The other is, again, diet. If you have, if you're not eating enough calories for your body, you're trying to lose weight, or you're in situations where you just don't get access to food like you'd like, or the types of food that you like, or the type of foods that you prefer, well, then you will become tired because you just are not consuming enough calories to maintain your bodily function. And our body needs calories for that purpose. Calories, the definition of calories is the energy our body produces from that substance that is eaten. So if you're not eating enough, there's just not enough energy being made, and that energy therefore cannot maintain your body, and the only thing your body will do is sleep or make you very, very, very tired. And so sometimes also, I talked about stimulants and how that can affect you, like caffeine can affect your sleep. Well, sugar, sweet things can make you sleepy too, if you're someone who has metabolic issues. So again, if you are tired and you are well hydrated and you're getting enough sleep and you're doing all the things that are necessary in order to get that good sleep and you're still tired, please get checked, because there could be another biological reason. There could be a psychological reason. And then always look around you and see what's going on in your family, amongst your friends. If you're, being bullied is another. The things you say to yourself is another thing that can make you tired. If a lot of negative self-talk will do it. And so again, bio, psycho, social. And so I know this was rather quick today. I'm trying to keep things under 30 minutes because they've been getting kind of long and difficult to edit. But if you have any questions, you can ask me them now. And hello, Bonnie, tuning in from Saskatchewan. I knew as soon as I was going to say it, I was going to say it wrong. Saskatchewan, Canada. Thank you for coming. And so if you have any questions now, you can write to me, or you can write to me at help@drtoomer.com, and I will answer you there. Or if you just want a consultation, you can also write to me there. The other is if you comment after the videos that are on YouTube, then I will respond. I tend not to see them as well if you ask questions under the Facebook, if the Facebook post, but I try. But Facebook tends not to, the notifications tend not to be as readily available, but the YouTube ones are. So I will respond to those if you have questions. Well, if you don't have any questions right now, Bonnie says, I have found, let me see, I'm just going to show this so I can read it. I have found that going up in my dose of Manjaro, I get very tired for a while as a side effect. Well, that is directly related to, caloric intake. The reason why, so what Manjaro does is it acts in the very part of the cell that produces energy. So when you take a higher dose, what that means is that there's not enough coming into the cell in order to make that energy. And so often what happens is that that dose revs up the cell and the stuff going into it isn't enough. And so, yes, it can make you very, very tired. And usually it's blood sugar related or carbohydrate related, but it's definitely dietary. So often just, and then water is another component that works in that cycle that helps make energy. So sometimes, needing more water and then needing more calories is required, especially if you're building muscle at the same time, because muscle requires a lot of energy to maintain itself. And so if not eating enough, then definitely fatigue will happen. But thank you for sharing that. That is a really important point. Any other questions, comments? I can only see the comments from Facebook on here. I'm going to look really quickly and see if I see any coming up, because I'm also streaming into LinkedIn. For some reason, LinkedIn questions tend not to come up. And I've noticed I've actually missed some, not realizing that people were writing questions in LinkedIn. And then the other is, so Facebook, and now YouTube, I don't see the questions either. So until later, but that's okay. Those I respond to. Let's see. Nope, nothing came in from LinkedIn. Okay. So, Thank you, Linda. Thank you for joining. So if you have any questions, like I said, now is the time to ask them. And it can be about this topic or some other. Because like I said, I'm family medicine, so I can talk about just about anything. And this is my 30th year in medicine. And so I am celebrating 30 years. And so that's a long time and a lot of information learned. So if no more questions, I am going to try and keep these nice and short. They've been getting longer and longer, and I don't mind answering questions. Today it just seems like we're not getting a whole lot of questions, but usually I do. And so sometimes when I do, I don't want to go too long. Oh, hello. Good day, Dr. Toomer. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you. Shepherd Essence, pretty name. And then Dalasai, thank you for coming. So, again, going once, going twice. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. But I'm just going to run through the information one more time for those people who just showed up. So, we're talking about what makes you tired, and biologically tired, psychologically tired, and socially tired, because anytime you have any human condition, there's always a biological reason, a psychological reason, and a social reason, and it's important to investigate all of those. And so what I talked about with the biological reasons were any underlying diagnosis like hypothyroidism, or hormonal deficiency, or menopause, when your hormones drop. But usually the most common is dehydration, so drinking enough water and using your urine as a guide to determine if you're drinking enough, or not getting enough sleep. And so making sure that all the reasons that your sleep may be disrupted, that those things are fixed, including cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which is also a menopause condition. And so you want to make sure that hormone replacement or stress reduction is possible in order to not disrupt your sleep. The second thing was psychological. And so we talked about grief, depression, stress. Chronic stress can all disrupt your sleep. Cortisol will wake you up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's very hard to get back to sleep. And the only way to fix that is to drop your cortisol. The other is not doing anything too close to too close to sleep, like eating too close to sleep. Having too many electronics around while you're trying to get to sleep. Any stimulants, coffee, medications can all disrupt your sleep. And so for those of you who are just coming in, you can get a better explanation if you go back and listen to this. And remember, like and share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll get all that information. So any other questions before we go? All right. Well, so I get one. Hormone replacement therapy is one way of dropping cortisol levels. No. So what it is that progesterone and estrogen, and you can go look in my YouTube. There's a lot of information in there about talking about menopause and all the different things around menopause. But cortisol is here. Estrogen and progesterone kind of keep it down. So as your estrogen and progesterone starts to drop, the cortisol is no longer opposed, and then it becomes the driver. So when cortisol is the driver, it does a couple of things. It pushes you into insulin resistance, which means that your body does not metabolize carbohydrates very well, which then leads to very efficient fat production. And that's why with menopause, you kind of get this like belly fat. Our belly grows during menopause. But the other thing that cortisol does is cortisol kind of fluctuates throughout the day. If it's already high and it starts to fluctuate, well, when it fluctuates, it makes you alert. Well, one of the times it tends to spike is 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So it will wake you up and keep you awake, and it will disrupt your sleep that way. And so, so hormone levels, what they'll do is if your cortisol's here and your hormones are here, you can take hormone replacement to do this, and then it will do that with your cortisol and help. It won't bring it down necessarily, but it will stop it from being the driver in your metabolic system. And so some of the things that happen won't be reversed, but it will stop it from getting worse. So it won't reverse any weight gain, but it will stop further weight gain. And the way to reverse weight gain or all the other metabolic issues that happen is through muscle, through further stress reduction, like lowering your cortisol. And then the other is low dose GLP-1 medications can help, like microdosing. If you're not trying to lose weight, regular dosing if you are. So I hope that answers your question. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, you're welcome very much. So if there are no more questions, I will see you here next Tuesday where Dr. TOOMER talks. And if you have any topics that you'd like me to talk about, you can always write to me. and ask me to speak on them, or you can leave it as a comment behind the videos. So, so good night, and I will see you next Tuesday.